Question. Is Football Manager 26, not 2026, 26, too easy? It's been a thing on my mind the last couple of weeks, I'd say, of playing this game. And it's a very common theme that has run throughout... Excuse me, Sally. Excuse me, Sally. Thank you. Hello. Throughout the history of FM, if you type in, I literally did this on YouTube, is Football Manager too easy? You'll have videos from 6 months ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, posing that same question. And the reason in particular I wanted to bring it up, specifically with FM26, is that I'm sitting here playing my save. We're in Japan, and I'm doing the journeyman save, if you're not watching, but I'm doing this journeyman save, and we're some of the smaller teams in the league, and I'm finding it a little bit too easy. Now, I was thinking, is this game just easier than the previous versions? I don't play, as you know, I don't play on the most detail, right? I leave training to my assistants. I don't try and squeeze everyone 2% out of my training regimes and individual training too much and all that sort of stuff. I don't spend untold hours scouting the actual perfect player with the perfect numbers and the perfect traits and stuff like this. I'll constantly play players out of position just because I think that's where they need to go. I don't play this game optimally. But I was like, I'm finding it really easy. And I was like, I came to the conclusion that the reason in particular, we're going to go on to the broader subject of difficulty in a minute, but the particular reason I find Football Manager 26 easy, I think is not because it's easier. I think it's because of this. Now, I could be wrong. It could just be easier. But stay with me. I think this way of designing tactics is the best that there's ever been in Football Manager. If you're, like me, a little sad nerd, lying in bed at night, thinking about a tactic in your head, something that might work, something a bit more unusual maybe, I think in this version of the game, it is easier than ever before to put what you want in a tactic or how you want to play into FM26. Having this, the shape you want out of possession, I'm playing this sort of 4-1-4-1, pressing, win that ball back, but then go quickly into the attack. I think it's so much easier to put that into the game. Better, not just easier. It's just a better way of doing tactics than ever before. That by default, as long as you're not doing something absolutely crazy, just makes the game feel a bit easier. That's how I suspect FM26 is being. But I have always thought FM is a little, and back in Championship Manager, is a little bit too easy. Now, here's the problem. Here's the massive problem. I love football. We all love football. Hooray. We know football. Maybe, you watch your team, you watch other teams, you watch tactical breakdowns, you might watch YouTube channels talking about tactics and signings and systems. We all have an inherent high-ish knowledge of how football works, right? Before we even play Football Manager. Whereas if I play any other video game, if I go play Darkest Dungeon for the first time, I have no idea what the best loadout is, or what each guy's good for, or good at, how to set them up. But with Football Manager, forgetting learning the game, you have an inherent knowledge. You might have a favourite tactic or a way of playing before you even play the game. So I think it makes this game feel a little bit easier. Now, on the flip side, they can't just make it artificially more difficult, because think about it from a newer player that has a part, maybe somebody that's just really enjoyed the World Cup or just really enjoys FIFA, and they come in. Because this game, and I'm not talking about FM26 in particular, because we're all trying to get used to and not dislike the new UI. But even if we're talking about FM24, for a new player coming in, The game is not accessible. It's a very complex, big, scary spreadsheet, and it will be hard. It will be hard to get used to. And if it was just more difficult, maybe to fix the balance of the game, they might make it so basically the AI has +1 to all a hidden stat that's +1 to all the attributes, or something simple like that, or they get a bit of extra money, or that it make it so it's harder for you to sign players, however they were to do it. If they decided to balance that way, it would just make the barrier for entry harder than it already is learning this giant ass spreadsheet, right? So I don't think you can do that. I think the problem inherently for us is, like, I'll see over the years, I've seen millions of Reddit posts and forum posts saying it's ridiculous how easy this is. You just get promoted and promoted and promoted, and it's too easy. I'm like, yeah, but that same guy posting that has put thousands of hours into various different versions of the game. They set up all their training regimes, they set up scouting networks, and they are fully in-depth into the game. It should be easy. I think that's the problem, right? If you take any other game, I don't know, let's say a tricky game, a Dark Souls, right? If you'd spent that much time learning how to be good at Dark Souls, spending the right spending time researching builds, doing everything you possibly could, thousands of hours repetitively going through the same bosses, that game becomes easy. Any game becomes easy. That's the inherent problem. And I think I've talked about it before, and I've seen other YouTubers talk about it, and I know there is a sort of strong... there is a bunch of people that just don't like this idea, but I truly believe Football Manager should have a difficulty setting. I cannot for the life of me think of a negative reason why not to have a difficulty setting. You just, not something crazy, not some sort of hardcore Iron Man mode where you lose a game and you lose a finger. I don't know. I'm talking realistic is your default, right? So if you just started a new game, you're being realistic. And then just have easy mode and hard mode. Simple as that. How they balance these things is they have tons of levers they can pull, right? I think one of the big ones, and I think this does need tweaking anyway with the normal game, is that I think it's just too easy to sign players, especially younger players that are going to develop into these world beaters. Maybe the scouting system has more sort of variables. Like this 17-year-old, I can scout him, and he's 5-star potential. Now, I don't know exactly how good he's going to get, but I know he's going to get really, really good. Guaranteed, pretty much, unless he breaks both legs or I never play him. This guy's going to get really good. Whether he's Ballon d'Or good or just really, really good. Either way, I'm going to sign that guy because I'm, whereas in real life, we've seen all the wonder kids that get bought and sold, and lots of them don't make it, or, for various reasons. So I think that should be tweaked a little bit anyway. I think just generally speaking, it should be harder to sign players, whether they just, especially younger players, and, improve the AI just generally. But I think it makes perfect sense to have a difficulty. So for the regular folk that just want to click on, play a game, they've got their favourite tactic, maybe they're managing the sort of casual players, let's call them, they will be perfectly happy on regular mode, right? That suits them down to the ground. They're just clicking continue. They're not spending 30 hours every summer finding the best players and tweaking the system. They're not going through their training regimes. They got their assistant, the assistant doing loads of the work for them. And so it kind of works perfectly for them. Maybe they don't have the best tactic. They're kind of trying to emulate a tactic they saw on Match of the Day. I think regular works perfect for them. Then you've got the crazy people. There's two versions of crazy people. There's one version of the crazy person, which is my version of the crazy person, where I still have the staff doing a lot of the stuff like training and everything. But I've played this game for so long and for so many years, I just inherently know what's good and what's better. And I'm pretty good at the tactics and good at signing players that I would, and I want a bit more of a challenge. I think, starting non-league, it should be almost impossible to get back-to-back promotions. Like, it can be done. It has been done in real life. But just generally speaking, it should be incredibly difficult. And just tweak it so it makes the AA harder, makes it their players slightly better, or maybe your players slightly worse, makes it harder to sign players. Maybe your reputation by default is your club reputation, your manager reputation is like 1 star lower than it looks on the screen. It can be hidden away so you don't feel like you're getting punished all the time. It can hide those things. Maybe every player asks for a bit more money. Maybe your club doesn't give you a big as high transfer budget each season. Maybe, you know, maybe some sort of board member is siphoning money out of the club. I don't know, unrealistic, but it could happen. There's tons of levers they could pull. And then you have the opposite end of the scale, which is for new players or people that just love, you know, because it's always fun, just love smashing a team 7-0. I want to manage Liverpool and beat Man United 7-0. Like, we all know that wouldn't happen in real life. But, you know, that would be really fun, right? Wouldn't it? You know, and so, or new players to the game. It's, you know, we've got plenty of tutorials and everything. So nowadays you can just say, hey, this is your first game. Would you like, this is an easier mode, more casual, we call casual mode or whatever it is. Just so it doesn't put everybody off instantly because they're trying to learn all these millions of systems and all these spreadsheets and they're getting beaten 3-0 every week. You know, and I don't really see the arguments for the negatives. The only real negative, actual logical argument I've seen, which is not really that logical, it's kind of a bit sad, is that for somehow people will boast their achievements, but whilst playing on easy mode. Like, if that stuff bothers you in the first place, then I don't know what to tell you. Yes, there's the Hall of Fame thing and stuff, but then you could just have that set for different levels. Like, that's no problem. I don't understand the argument, and please correct me. Tell me why. If you're against having a difficulty mode, please explain to me why. Because I'm not talking giant changes. It's not like, oh, but they're going to have to spend 10,000 man-hours to make sure they've got 3 difficulty modes. I just don't get it. If I want a night where I get stoned and drunk with me mate playing a network game where we're smashing everybody 5-0, then we can play on easy mode. You know, I don't understand. It would be so easy to make this game more difficult or more easy. It's just pulling a few levers, a few tweaks either way, and it will get done. So, Sports Interactive, if you're watching, make a difficulty level. It's not that, I know it's not that hard. You know it's not that hard. You just decided maybe it's just not authentic. You want the authentic football experience. But that's bullshit anyway, because the authentic football experience isn't getting promoted every year from the conference until you get into the Premier League and then finishing in the European spots in your first season. That's not authentic, is it? Unless you're Bournemouth. Almost. But yeah, so there is my pitch to Sports Interactive. Please, in FM27, alongside the 7,400 tweaks to the UI you need to make, please introduce a difficulty mode to the game. It would benefit new players. It would benefit just regular players because they can just carry on with no changes. And it would benefit us Sados, nerds and hardcore players that just want it a bit more of an edge because they're quite good at the game. And I'm not even that good at the game and I'm successful. That's a warning sign. Right. If you enjoyed that, please. But again, tell me where you think if I'm wrong or there's more reasons to not include a difficulty level. I'd love to hear it. I know this is a conversation we've had before and other videos have made, but I really think we should genuinely do it. I just don't see a reason not to do it. Right. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.